Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is 3 Buck Theater, hopefully one of your many sources for movie news and commentary around the web. And hope you all get used to seeing my face because you're going to be seeing a lot more of it going forward from here. But truth be told, some news broke today that I think is really kind of causing a little bit of an internal struggle with some people online. And that would be the early tracking numbers for Warner Brothers' Wonder Woman coming out in just a few weeks. Now, when it was originally reported, the film was set to earn approximately $80 million in its opening weekend. Some viewed that as exceptionally low compared to Batman v Superman's numbers, Man of Steel numbers, and Suicide Squad numbers. I, however, took a look at the opening numbers of June over the course of the past 3 years and saw that 80 million was actually pretty top numbers. Well, now that number has dropped to 65 million, with a couple places one place really talking about it being upwards of $105 million. And that $40 million gap is it's confusing a lot of people. Now, in one camp, you've got the DC fanboys that are upset at the tracking numbers, that they want this thing to do well. Now, I will fully admit that I have said multiple times, I expect this movie to do $1 billion. I no longer believe that. Maybe 700-800 million when it's all said and done, but definitely not the cool billion, which sucks because I felt that this particular movie would have been the movie of the DCEU that would top that. But that might actually be held for Justice League towards the end of the year. And even then, that may not. Who knows at this point? The DCEU is kind of all over the place. Who knows what's going to fucking happen here? But other people out there are talking about this being not that good of an opening because, well, for one, Warner Brothers didn't market Wonder Woman directly, or correctly, I should say. There was a couple pieces just last week from a few feminist-leaning writers that were going on about how Warner Brothers had not upped the marketing game for this movie, but then it came out that Warner's is actually spending a bit more money in terms of advertising this one than they did Suicide Squad. And that's where that $105 million number comes from. The tracking board on that one is essentially saying, like, hey, listen, the extra money that Warner Brothers spent here effectively is going to help give it more cash. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. A little bit of marketing goes a long way. Here's what I think. So the numbers here are so skewed because I honestly don't think people know precisely what to expect from this movie. We're kind of running an anomaly here. So for one, it's a female-led superhero movie. To many people, it's the first female-led superhero movie to come out ever, which is not true. Technically, if you really want to break it down, Fox did the first one back in 2005 with Elektra. Now, we all know how that one played out. Wasn't good. But this one is the first female-led superhero film in this new batch of superhero movies, right? Since, the MCU started 9 years ago and has not had a female-led film, not until Captain Marvel, not even a Black Widow movie, which is just insane, given the fact that Scarlett Johansson has actually done quite well in the role, and a lot of people have been clamoring for that kind of film. So you've got that. You've also got the fact that the DCEU movies as a whole have not done as well. Man of Steel in 2013 opened up to about $116 million. Batman v Superman opened up to the tune of $166 million in its opening weekend. Suicide Squad hit $133 million. So Wonder Woman chalking in at 65 is just like, oh, damn, right? But here's why I think that number is not necessarily the most accurate. I think the low ball of 65 million is a low ball. But I could be wrong, and I will talk about that too. So here's the thing. What made Suicide Squad popular? It wasn't the reviews, because those pretty much tore it to shit, even though I still think it was a good movie. All right. It was the fact that female viewers came out in droves to see that movie multiple times. Harley Quinn was a big push for that. Now, Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman is not as charismatic as Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and that could be playing up on it as well. You could also argue that in recent years, in terms of kind of popularized DC personas, Harley Quinn has a far stronger presence than Wonder Woman, and seeing her on the screen for the first time definitely was something that was a big draw. This, of course, is not Diana Prince's first time on the big screen, Gal Gadot being a relatively decent-sized role in Batman v Superman from last year. And if you look at all the marketing on that thing, especially all the home video marketing, She's right there front and center. It's her, and then it's Batman and Superman. Like, they've been pushing Wonder Woman for quite some time. But I'm wondering if that's going to have an impact in the home video world, because Suicide Squad and Batman v Superman both did very, very, very well in the home video marketplace. In fact, Batman v Superman spent 5 weeks at the #1 most purchased home movie for the first weeks it was out, followed by The Killing Joke on Blu-ray. So when it came to DC movies on home video last year, oh shit, man, they reigned supreme. And even Suicide Squad did very well when it came out. So it's one of those things where people could be looking at something like the DCEU and thinking to themselves, yes, this is a gigantic spectacle film. Yes, this is a huge film like this, but ultimately it's not one that I want to go see in the theater. It's one I will just wait for home videos. Now, there's that angle of it too, but when I talked about the box office as a whole, there's many articles coming out right now that are talking about how the summer movie season for this year is going to just get pummeled constantly. Now, if you look at the opening of Guardians of the Galaxy, first few days, $500 million worldwide, the movie is a sure bona fide hit. It's Marvel, we knew it was going to happen. But look at King Arthur, which opens tomorrow, tracking to open at just $25 million tomorrow. Right when it opens up. Snatch is not, suggested to do any better. Baywatch comes out in a couple weeks. That's projected to do only like 30 to 40 million in its opening weekend. Pirates of the Caribbean is estimated to do 90 million on Memorial Day weekend, which is arguably the largest movie-going weekend of the summer of the year, and that's only projected to do 90 million. And so you've got all of these factors at play in the fact that the summer movie season, outside of a few whales, has been kind of dwindling these last couple years. This year, I think these numbers are coming in at lower averages, not because of the quality of the films, but because that is what the studios are hoping that they make, in order, if they hit that number, then they'll feel it's a success, and anything else they can just write off. But to give you an idea of how bad it was last year for, let's say, Sony had to write down $980 million. That's right, almost $1 billion they had to write off from their film division, with movies like Ghostbusters tanking, and even Spectre at the tail end of 2015 not doing the numbers that they wanted it to, based on the near $300 million budget. And that right there is the issue. The budgets of these movies are far greater than in many cases they need to be, and a lot of times it goes to the actors. And I'm not against paying the actors, but when I hear rumors that Avengers Infinity War and whatever, the Infinity Gauntlet, whatever the next one's going to be called, has a rumored budget of $1 billion, that's when you know shit is crazy, and then it needs to be really reined in. But when you start getting into like the high caliber Hollywood talent that's coming to these movies, they're doing so because of the lucrative contract and the huge ass payday. But then you think about everyone they have to also pay that trickle down, right? They've got their agent, they've got their manager, their publicist, their assistant, whatever else they might have. There are people that they need to then make that level of money in order to feed that beast. And that is part of the problem. It becomes a machine. It becomes a machine dependent on your dollar and my dollar in order to continue it moving forward. And when that continues to happen at a rate that they've been losing as much money as they have, and they're focusing on trying to get the foreign dollar as much as they are, and when they go for the foreign dollar, they dumb down the movie in order to translate better across to all of the languages. And that's a shame, because that does a disservice to everybody else. This is what we find ourselves dealing with, and it's unfortunate. So hopefully this movie will at least come out around the 80 million mark. That's what I'm hoping for. I still want it to earn $1 billion. I want to see a good Wonder Woman movie. I want this to be a success, not only for Gal Gadot, who I happen to actually like as an actress, but Patty Jenkins, being a female director hitting that role, will be perfectly fine with me. And I just don't want it to boil down to it being a failure, and then having to hear all the articles saying, oh, well, the misogynists didn't go see the movie. Well, the tracking boards are saying that this movie is doing well with men ages 25 plus, and then also women ages 25 plus. So it's tracking to come after both, and both are excited to see it, which so that's good. But I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. Do you think that Wonder Woman is going to do well? Do you think 65 is like a good number for them to hope for? Do you think they could hit that 105? Do you think people are just kind of like tired of the sequels and the superhero movies, or are they tired of DC? I mean, these are things I'm curious to know about. Go ahead and write down in the comments. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. If you guys haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, check back often for more content from me. If you also want to support this channel and then my other endeavors online, Links below in the video description. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.